first stage is to get the ears into some sort of better shape. The leading edge, the front edge of the ear, is rounded, and you can see I've done this one a little bit here. So that's rounded, and then it opens up into like a trumpet and a thinner on this edge, and it comes down to and they sort of meet here. So there's a bit of scooping out to be done. That's why I'm not going to do too much at the back until I know where I am at the front. But to begin with, I need to get this edge rounded over. So I'm going to be literally rounding it over, coming up with the grain this way, like so. A little tricky because things are getting in the way, but what you can do is, if you find it difficult, you can get a rasp and you can just work it round, because you can always go over a rasp surface and not damage the carving tool. So you could round it over. Otherwise, you do your best you can with your carving tools. So this is coming along here and rounding over, and they have a sort of little kink often in these ears, which is rather nice. So I'm coming round here and creating the stem this way, if you call it the sort of main body of the ear. Come around here. Going round and over. And what I'm doing is I come over to here, and then at some point that carving will go round the back, so I can start undercutting like that. This is a little hard to film, but I hope you can see that what's happening is my tool is coming round here, and is this corner which is just ploughing up a furrow on the far side like that. So it's coming up here like this, and that is giving me this edge to the ear, and that comes down here, it's rounded over, so I need to make sure that's rounding over, and the ear as a whole faces like that. So it's just really this leading edge that comes round, then the back edge is over here. So having got this edge here, I'm going to draw in where I think the inner edge of that fold is. So there's my pencil. This is the inside edge here, and it comes down there, and there's a bit of a fold over here, and then it opens up. So having decided on that, I mean, what I could do is I could just put a little edge along it, like so, just to mark it more clearly. So that's where that's going to go and come out to nothing at the top. And then here I've got to start trying to find this edge. So I'm really finding this edge and this edge. So think about how I want this. I've got quite a bit of wood here, so I might make this really strongly like this. So this is curving forward a little bit. What I want is an amount of vertical grain here. I don't really want to be at an angle where the grain is short. I want to get my ear, the hare's ear, into this vertical plane. So I'm going to come up fairly vertical here. Then once I'm sort of fairly happy with this rough sort of where that edge is, I'm going to now actually set that edge in. So this is very much like setting in a leaf. And at this stage, all I do is I'm just going, again, cutting in with the corner about 1/8 of an inch down. And I'm saying this now is the physical edge of that ear. And when I'm ready, I can take off the wood at the back. I might change my mind a little bit, so as I refine it, so I'm not prepared to take too much off yet. But that's the stage, and up here, of course, it'll come up here. So just cutting that little bit of wood in there. just behind it. So I've got a clear edge all the way around. I'll bring that down here and I'll start taking wood away around here. Once I'm sure of the outside edge here, the actual outline of the ear, I'm going to start taking wood away and sort of hollowing it in here. But you can see as I come down how this edge here is fouling, so that it's very difficult to take a cut off here. So at some point I'm going to have to swap to bent tools like this to sort of scoop that out. But I'm going to go as far as I can with this tool for the moment. And we're going to keep checking this thickness of the wood with my hands. It's got to be fairly thin, but not so thin that I can actually see daylight coming through. And this edge here, this is a soft edge, so this is going to roll round like this. So this will roll round and a little bit underneath. Let's come in here. So I can take a number 10 gouge, which is more U-shaped, and come from in here, so this is flattening out here, and then start to undercut, push that back down into there. So everything is being pushed into this recess here. Now when I look at this, when I feel this, I've still got big lumps of wood back here, excuse me, but what I'm really interested in is in this appearance and shape from this face and then I'm going to back off all this, cut this back to make it thinner. But this is the face I want, and again I keep checking to make sure I'm not too thin, but there will be a certain thickness. So into there, and then I'm going to start hollowing this out here. I don't have to go too far at the moment, but just because this is still not a detail stage. So once I've done one ear, getting at a sense of how that ear is going to be and some depth, I'll go to the other side and I'll do the other one. And I think what you'll see is that the hair is now beginning to look a bit like a hare, because the ears are looking correct, or much more like a hare's ears. At the end of this, let's call it a second pass, I've got fairly deep hollows in the ears here and brought it down into that. And I'd encourage you to do that. I'd encourage you to get the ears quite deep, be quite bold here. There's still a lot of wood on the back, and that's what we're going to get rid of next. But at this stage, at the end of this stage, you should have this head of the hare looking pretty good like a hare. So we've got lumps for the eyes, the mouth, everything in the right position, looking pretty much, we should be able to see the hair in it at this stage. Anyway, we get it like this, and now we're going to move on to refining this whole surface.